CJ Stroud is going to be the starter in preseason game number 1. That shouldn't be a shock, and yet somehow it is. DeMeco Ryans let the cat out of the bag today. I think earlier than he anticipated. I will explain exactly how all that went down. I also have reasons for many of you Texans fans to potentially get excited about lording something over the Cowboys this season. It's a developing situation, but one that I got very excited once I learned about it. So, how did it all start today? DeMeco actually addressed it in the press conference after practice and gave his standard no comment. This was him in the press conference.
Plan to play the starters in the preseason game?
Each person will be dependent upon each person. Right now, as I see it, guys going out, hopefully getting a couple series depending on how it goes.
About CJ?
So he asked, what about CJ?
We'll see. He'll go out there as well. All right, most of our guys will get work.
All right, most of our guys will get work, and look, CJ for the third straight day took all the reps with the ones and didn't look as sharp today in a non-contact practice, but everybody assumed, all right, CJ will probably be going out. Then Tom Pelissero, who strikes me as one of the nicest people in NFL media at NFL.com, and he was with Jane Slater for the NFL Network interviewing DeMeco, and they managed to pull it out of DeMeco. I don't know how they did it.
4 straight days CJ's taking the first team reps. He's the number 2 overall pick. Is this competition over at this point? Is he the guy?
Okay, so basically what we've all said, right? We've all said something similar to that.
Still working through it. We're still working through that, and then we'll see once we line up, on Sunday in regular season versus the Ravens.
And that's where, okay, you hear that? What about Thursday? So Pelissero's getting it in.
CJ will go out first versus the Ravens, and versus the Patriots. He'll go out there first.
That's a Freudian slip right there.
Okay, so and then he misstepped and said that CJ would go out there first versus the Ravens, which would be a huge announcement, even though everybody's expecting that announcement at some point. It would be a huge announcement. But he corrected himself, and he was talking about, obviously, just the Patriots.
I know, right?
I honestly, this has all been kind of trivial, I think. I remember last year, a couple people in the media got into it with Lovie Smith. Cordially, you never really get into it with Lovie cordially about who the named starter was going to be, whether it was Kyle Allen or one of the other situations. And this year, people have been very patient. It's certainly never an outright neck and neck competition between a number 2 overall pick and a Davis Mills. It's going to be a weighted competition, and you're going to factor in the fact that, okay, the rookie doesn't have as much experience as the older guys, so he shouldn't be expected to do certain things right away. All right, Jane Slater asked DeMeco about just both those guys and how they're doing.
I've seen both guys improve each practice. Davis is playing better. CJ continues to improve each day. We put these guys in a lot of situational football to see how can they handle it. That's what practicing is about. Being in difficult situations, learning from it, and improving. And the next time you're out, right, showing your team that you're the guy to take the helm.
The other part, too, where people will second guess the strategy that the Texans have used in not naming CJ Stroud the starter immediately. A lot of the objections, and understandable ones, I get these objections. A lot of the objections have been that, well, DeMeco needs as much time as possible with these starting wide receivers. There are no starting wide receivers. Robert Woods is probably the only one guy who's definitely going to be a starter. And beyond that, at least for the first few games, I think it's going to be a whole lot of situational stuff, and I think it's going to be a whole lot of who's leading the boat race right now, whether it be Nico Collins, Xavier Hutchinson, Tank Dell, multiple other guys. I don't want to mention. There's going to be John Mechie. There's going to be a healthy competition for playing time with these guys. And I think there's a lot of promise with a lot of the younger guys. And some of the veteran journeyman types, I think they'll provide some value too. So DeMeco, CJ has had time with all of these guys. CJ has been working. CJ, when he was with the 2s or when he was with the 1s, was working with Robert Woods, Nico Collins, Tank, Xavier Hutchinson. All those guys are all working in. So I'm not worried about that. And I think when they were in the remedial stages of things, then it mattered, but it doesn't matter as much now. The other thing, too, about, Tank Dell. Remember how I used to call DeAndre Hopkins the skeleton key for quarterbacks because there wasn't a quarterback other than Brock Osweiler who DeAndre Hopkins didn't make better as a quarterback. Like he improved and unlocked all these quarterbacks. And I think Tank Dell, in a way, he can be that way because he's made each one of these three quarterbacks at camp look better than they are at times because he gets a whole lot of separation. He can go up and grab balls that other guys simply can't. And I'm excited about Tank Dell because oh yeah, okay. So Ethan Matt says DeMeco mentioned Dell is almost always open. Have you seen that as well? Okay, I haven't seen him always open, but he gets open a lot. He has that ability to separate at the not just at the top of the route, but almost like at the end of a route. He's got a way of using the sideline that you don't quite expect out of somebody who's as small as he is. You know, we're just talking about Nico Collins. When Nico Collins uses the sideline, he creates some space for himself by being a bigger guy, and then he can go up and body people to compete for the ball and box them out. With Tank Dell, I think there's an ability to kind of flirt with the sideline and then dart for it at the end and create separation in that way. I'm gonna have to be able to I gotta be able to watch him on the actual coaching copy more to figure it out. But he's got a really good knack for it. So what is he expecting to see out of CJ in the preseason game? This being DeMeco Ryans. What is DeMeco Ryans expecting to see out of CJ?
From CJ in this game, I just want to see a guy come out and command the huddle, command the offense, get us lined up, get everybody on the same page, and just operate efficiently.
Yeah, and like that sounds boring as hell, but again, that's why I'm okay with them taking baby steps or toddler steps with CJ Stroud because you know, we've all heard these stories about rookies coming into a huddle and like sometimes not being able to get the play call out. You know, if you watch Quarterback on Netflix, it's a really good illustration of just how difficult the play calling process is. When Kirk Cousins, who's certainly a bright enough guy and has been in the league forever, it seems like he spends half his time during the season going over the play calls, being sure he can spit it out under stress and under pressure when he's out of breath. And that's going to be a big step for CJ compared to the direction that he took from the sideline in college. So that takes a lot of time and reps to get automatic. So I think just bringing it along to where CJ can kind of demonstrate each step along the way. Let's say you've got a kid that's a karate prodigy and the instructor can tell, okay, this kid's going somewhere. He's just a freak. Does the karate instructor all of a sudden just advance him to a black belt? No, you follow up through the progressions. And your karate genius will do it at an accelerated pace, but he'll get there. And that's where CJ's been. CJ has been on the accelerated course to getting his black belt here with the Houston Texans. This is your chance right now to anticipate a little bit of being able to throw it in the Cowboys' faces. I'm just putting this out here for you right now. It's something to monitor. Jane Slater, who covers the Cowboys, asked about Dalton Schultz, who had come from the Cowboys. And then I'm going to add the little cherry on top at the end of this.
He's been very consistent, right? Quarterback, I said he's the quarterback's best friend out here right now. You watch our offense, they know Dalton will get them a completion. He's been really a great addition for us, right? Offense, and you got young quarterbacks, and who can you get the ball to? Who can you count on? You can count on Dalton.
You can count on Dalton Schultz, who, remember, it was somehow turned into a negative that he was a security blanket for Dak Prescott. People would say, well, gosh, how good can this guy be if he's the guy that Dak Prescott runs to rescue Dak Prescott whenever he can? He's just simply there. He's just simply producing because Dak Prescott, the quarterback, trusts him so implicitly. Sorry that Dalton Schultz was just so damn trustworthy that you couldn't use him. Well, I mean, this is what's going on in Dallas right now. When the Dallas Cowboys drafted tight end Luke Schoonmaker in the second round, the assumption was that he would replace free agent departure Dalton Schultz. But Schoonmaker still hasn't practiced at Cowboys camp and may have too much ground to make up behind current starter Jake Ferguson. So take that. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to Dalton Schultz, who it's noticeable when he's not in there. It's very exciting stuff, but it's going to be it's going to be at least until opening day and probably a little bit further on into that. I don't know which kind of medical reports or speculation came out since then. Somebody had asked about whether Charlie Heck was playing in place of him. Heck has not practiced yet. So unless I missed something today, I'm pretty sure I saw him. He's out there. He looks like a big old camp counselor out there because he's so tall. So it looks like, because he's wearing his shorts, and they wear the short shorts these days, the kids, they do. So it looks like a 1980s camp counselor because he's like 6'9". So he's even taller than all the other campers out there. And he's like the college kid that they brought in to help with these high school kids who are actually NFL players. So CJ Stroud is starting Thursday night. It's kind of official now. We know for sure that he's starting on Thursday night, and I look forward to it. Please like and subscribe. I'm Seth Payne. I played 10 years in the NFL. I played 5 years for the Houston Texans. Now I cover them here on Sports Radio 610. So please tell a friend, subscribe, like, all that good stuff.